Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM, and it's now time for another episode of Lawrie Goes, a Little Loco. And if you check down on the screen now, that will be the links to our social media, including our Discord where you can talk to us about trains, model trains, tractors, cars, all kinds of wonderful things, and also to our Patreon. If you really like what you're seeing on the channel and you want to help us grow even further, we really do appreciate the support. Now, if you cast your minds back to the last episode of Lawrie Goes, a Little Loco, where we looked at the big box of Dublo that I found, we discovered this, which is a Hornby Dublo N2 chassis, of which I have absolutely zero idea of how I acquired it. This one, some stuff I have a vague kind of inclination of where it came from or when I got it. That I have no idea why I'd have just bought a chassis. And we also covered in the last episode that with all the stock that I've got, I don't have enough locomotives to pull all the stock. So I thought we'd better rectify that. So I've gone ahead and I've got this, which is a new shell for my N2. Now, I'm not entirely sure what period this chassis is from, because the N2 came into production in 1947, but they were only in the Big Four liveries, and then they carried on until 1953, I think is when the British Railway branded stuff began to come into Hornby Dublo. So this could be the wrong chassis for that lid. I have absolutely no idea. So the plan today is to find out whether this works and to reinstall this on it. The other problems we've got with this are obviously the rear coupling is knackered. So in my box of many bits, which I've put here, I have got some pieces to fix this. I've got a new rear pony truck that has the coupling on it. And I've also got, in this little bag here, some coal, which is designed to slot into the back. Don't need those anymore. Whilst I was looking around for things in my attic though, I found this. I found another Hornby Dublo wagon, and this little, I think this is actually a more modern Hornby or Dupole wagon, I'm not really sure. Bit of scuffing on it, bit of graffiti, but it just so happens to fit perfectly onto this wagon. So I thought we'd just attach that. And finally, I found this box up in my attic as well, which is a rather nifty cigarette card attached to it. This is meant to be a mineral wagon, and I went, ooh, there's something in here. So I went, all right, let's open it up and find out what we got. So today, in a very uncharacteristic version of LMM, I'm going to attempt to fix some stuff. Yeah, I know, I'm scared too. So we're going to start with putting some things to a side and working what it is. You know, potentially today, we could have 3 fixed things. So number 1 on the agenda is let's have a look and see if this chassis actually works, because it would be pointless to do anything else. And then next week, I promise I'll give you, well, next episode, I promise I'll give you the full running session with multiple things running. So down here, I've got this, which is the old Triang RP14, I think, which that's quite a big and powerful old style transformer. So all I'm going to do now is connect that to that, that to that, which are your positive and negatives on this one. And we're going to pick this up, clip one here onto the center, and I'm just going to turn the power up now, hold the locomotive somewhere safe, and oh, look at that. Power onto there. Oh, it did work. Huh. Well, that's disappointing, isn't it? Oh, there we go. There is life. Turn you to max, which is there. There we go. Don't know what that was about. Power to there. So that should work. Oh, they are pretty crusty. Well, it's kind of wants to run. The wheels are fairly crusty. Let's try and change direction, see if we can get any more life out of it. Put that back onto there. Make sure it's not touching the frame. And ooh, let's have a look on some track then. Let's see if it's just my clips or if it's something more problematic. So nice piece of track. Loco onto the track. Lose that now. And one and... oh. Oh, there we go. It does kind of... there we go. Well, the first thing I think we're going to do with that, as it shows signs of life and signs of wheeling. And it smells very hot now. So we're going to give those wheels a clean. Because, I don't know if you can see that, but the wheels are filthy. So we're just going to park that upside down like that. And I've got, for this task, some Zippo lighter fluid and some cotton buds. This is one of the ways of dealing with this. So all we're going to do is just put a little bit of lighter fluid onto your cotton buds like so. There you go. I'll shut that down, put that over there. And then just going to give these wheels a clean because they are absolutely filthy. This thing has years and years of gunk on it. Oh, look at that. And the hopes that by doing this, we might be able to get some better running characteristics out of it. Now, if you are going to use something like lighter fluid on your models, it's always wise to keep it a long way away from any plastic or transfers because it will melt them and take them straight off. You know what, let's just do the whole frame with this. Ugh, that is very black. So this may have been serviced in the past, may have been the key words, and used excessive oil everywhere, which has got onto the wheels and everywhere else. Oh, that is disgusting. Now, as I said before, I've got no idea. This might be a totally futile effort that you're joining me on, which if it is totally futile, we may not actually get to it in the edit, who knows? Because I don't really know if this will work. Ugh, that's disgusting. There's something very, very satisfying about cleaning model railways and fixing items and giving things a service that haven't had a clean for a while. It's very, very soothing. It would be great if the end stayed on that. Let's just try and get that through there. There we go. Well, they look... wow, that's night and day. I'll just show you there. It's night and day between the two. So we'll just chuck that away now. Let's in the bin with that. Grab another one and we'll just do the other side. Now, hopefully, this will solve some of our problems. I mean, to be fair, this could probably do with a full strip and a proper service. And we will be covering giving things a service in an upcoming video. Just not going to do it today. Why? But just because I don't feel like it, really. And I kind of wanted to get this run and fix some stuff first. But yes, do not worry. We will be covering doing proper servicing. And I will be servicing some of the Locos in the not too distant future. Look at the absolute horribleness on that, okay? That commutator is disgusting as well. I'm just going to do a little wipe of the commutator. Get some of the carbon off that. That's another bit of that gone. That actually has made quite the difference. Now again, what I should do really is strip this all down and give it a good clean and oil. So what we'll do now, having just cleaned up the wheels, we'll stick this back down, like so. Click that one onto there, like so. And we should reattach to this piece of track and see what we can get out of it. So stick that onto there and see if that has made a difference. Maybe. Kind of. Oh. Yes, it has. Look at that. Now, as promised, you've now seen Dublo running. So we know that the chassis isn't knackered. We know that it is probably in dire need of a complete strip down and, well, oil up, rebuild service. But we know that it's now something that's a viable project and it's worth putting it together. So we'll stick that over there. We're going to start with an easy project. Put that there, put that there. So this Dublo wagon, I have no idea. Like the big set, I kind of understand. Why this was on its own, no idea. And then this thing here with £2 written on it. So this is a banana fruit wagon. I've got a feeling, judging by the feel of it, it's Dapole or Dapole. I'm not sure how you meant to pronounce it. I've been calling it Dapole all my life, and then I've been told by you guys on the internet that it's wrong and Dapole. But it fits perfectly onto there. So it's the wrong body for the chassis, but I don't have enough goods rolling stock here. So I've got some of this super glue, and we'll just give it a squeeze. Good. And we'll just add it onto here. I'm going to leave the £2 marker on as a nice little memory if this ever gets taken apart. And it's just attached so nicely, I don't think it's going to come off. So just a nice little bit of super glue. I don't plan on this ever coming off. I don't see any reason for it to come off. So that's more than enough. Put the lid back on the super glue. Trying not to get our fingers stuck together. And then we're just going to put these two together. Like so. Making sure we got it just like, whoops, just lined up correctly. And there we go. And just like that. That is a job that's probably been waiting for me to do for years. So it's now the most detailed Dublo wagon that I have because it's a proper wagon, but seems a nice thing to do to a little Dublo chassis to actually make it into something proper and real. So having completed and graduated from basic wagon repair, let's move across to this one, which is, I think, was it a Hornby? No, it just says England. No idea. I think it's early Hornby. Yes, because the wheels aren't big enough to be trying, so at least it should run on modern track. So what we have here are one of the cool wagons that Hornby used to make. It's one of these, and it has these very nice sliding doors. And so there's a ridge across the top here that the door sits into, and they sit also in this space here. So the doors can open, which is kind of cool. I imagine when you're kind of running it that they rattle themselves open, but never mind, that doesn't matter. So let's start by rebuilding this. So there's a weight here, and also I have no idea why it's in bits. I think I bought a job lot ages ago which had that box in it, and I've just never got around to fixing it, but never mind. So there's a weight here because this chassis is made of plastic, and if I throw it up it's just going to stay up there. It's not coming down, it's so light. So they put a little weight in there to give a bit more weight to this wagon. And then there were 4 connecting lugs. That one's gone, but there's 2 locating lugs here and holes in this plate here. So you've got the holes. And so this should fit over that like so. And that gives us the base of our wagon. So I'm going to attach some glue onto this and hold the base back on the wagon. So that's just going to have a bit dribbled on it. Come on, super glue. Thank you. There. A bit on it there. And we'll put a little bit on the weight, because that would help hold the whole thing together. A drop there and a drop there. So that now should hold this weight onto the wagon. making sure it's the right way up. We need those little lips upway, that's a new word, facing up. There we go. And now we just push that on, and immediately the glue is doing its job. Now this bit is the more tricky bit that I haven't really figured out yet, because we need to glue this onto its base to hold that in place, which goes this way around because that's where the missing lugs are. So that has to sit like that, and that does actually clip in quite nicely. So we'll put a little bit of glue on there, but also we need to somehow get these doors. So they're conveniently got left and right on them, so we know which is which. So we'll slide this one in there, a left-hand door, this one in, whoops, this one in that way up. So we can see those, and now if I can keep that upside down without losing that, we'll do the same there. So that ventilated needs to be that way up, and this one needs to be this way up. Whoops. Now there's a little bit of moulding in the middle of this wagon so that you can see, so the doors will only go so far before they stop. So that's important. Right, so on that, we're going to attach a little bit of glue onto that locating dot here, like so, go on, and a bit onto this one, like so, and onto that there, that there. Now we'll just put a bit down the middle, just hold it all together forevermore. Being very careful, obviously, to avoid getting any where the doors are going to slide, because that will kind of stop the whole thing of these nice sliding doors. Like that. Now comes the more complex thing, so which we don't want to do. Oh, this is going to be difficult. How to keep all of these. I'll be honest, guys, I thought this was going to be relatively easy, and I did not think this through. So those can go like that. That needs to go that way. So that needs to go on like that. Oh, I think I did it. I did. Oh, I'm genuinely impressed. Look at that. There we go. So that's another thing fixed, and a bit of glue on that. That will stay together forevermore. And now it has become a usable wagon with maybe slightly overscale sliding doors, but they're still quite cool, aren't they, to have sliding doors. So that's two things fixed. We are on a roll, which means let's now have a look at this. So the first thing to do is to replace this knackered rear end. So turn it upside down, and all we've got there is a screw. Now the nice thing about Dublo is it's all kind of Meccano-y and kind of built to a particular size and scale. It's fairly easy to take all of it apart. There, and to be honest, giving this thing a full service isn't that complex either. So removing the screw, like so, and this just comes off. It's fairly simple. It's obviously been lubricated in the past because I can see the sheen of oil on it. So we'll take that and simply take the new one back over the top like that. Little bearing over the top of that. Bearing washer. I know my words. So see the washer there, and then this, and we'll drop it in to where it needs to go, which is just like that. With the screw in place, all we have to do is very carefully, very gently do that up, like so. Make sure it's relatively tight, and there we go. Correct rear pony truck. So this one's now scrapped to go somewhere else, but that will now, theoretically, we'll go around this way, couple up with our newly fixed wagon, which is super. So that's now more or less how it should be. Maybe do with a bit of tightening up, but never mind. Now, I know I'm missing the front coupling, but I haven't really done anything about that yet, so never mind. So all we need to do now is clip the body shell in at the back. There's 2 lugs at the back, and that goes over the top. And we can put this nice little load that I've got here, and that just drops in like that, and suddenly the whole model looks much nicer. So this shell is not in bad condition. Across the back it's got created by Meccano, or made by Meccano, Hornby Meccano Limited, and the decals all over it are actually quite nice, and I am amazed at how much difference it does make putting that in. And then to finish it off, I've got this little tiny nut and bolt. So these aren't really very well hidden on this model, as I mentioned in the previous model. In the previous video, we're looking at the other N2 model I've got, which has been repainted in Southern livery. But that bolt just drops in across the front there, somehow. Now, admittedly, this is not the right bolt for the model. This is one that I found over in my stores from my grandfather. It's got a pot of screws and useful bolts and things. And that's one of kind of a legacy of my grandfather, helping me repair model trains. Go on, in you go. And there we go. So that's now gone through. And that goes through to under there. So now I've got to try and somehow fit this silly little bolt over the end of that nut, rather, over the end of the bolt. And very gently does it is the key to that, because we've got it on amazingly. And now it's just a matter of putting the screw drive in there, using the finger to do it up, and there we go. One successful rebuild of a locomotive. So with that there, so I think the only thing to do now really is to put a quick oval of track down, and let's see if we can get our newly completed train of repaired items to do a loop. So the first thing to do was to move the board out of the way, and then to start going through the massive amount of track that I've managed to acquire to put together a simple circle. Now, most handily, the power connecting track on Dublo appears to be just on the curves, and I thought this would be quick and easy. But I was wrong. It turns out that in my big pile of track, I've got multiple different radiuses, and I couldn't really work out which had gone wrong because they all look pretty similar, so I just kept trying different pieces of track until we had a complete circuit, and I thought it'd be a good idea to give it a quick clean to try and give the poor little N2 some chance of being able to run. So with that completed, all that remains is to take the newly assembled N2 and place it onto the track for its debut run. I will turn the power up. Oh, it wants to go. And there it goes. Turn the power right up. Oh, there it goes. There's a bit of life there. Oh, that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. So this version of this engine with this body shell and this chassis has never ever run before. So what we're witnessing here, guys, is an actual first. This is the first time it's ever been like this, and that's something that's quite special for a model that is, well, at least 50 years old. To be able to do something with it that it's the first time ever it's been like this. That's pretty amazing. You know what, that runs really well. Oh yeah, look at that, we can slow it right down. And keep it just... Oh, that is fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. It's such a cute little model. Will it restart? It does. Oh, that is so absolutely magnificent. Right, so next thing, let's see if we can get it running with its train. So we'll connect up the Dublo wagon. Ooh, there we go. And behind it, our little ventilated fruit van. Not ventilated, something bad. Right, and go on. Away we go. That is, that was amazing for the few seconds it lasted before it uncoupled. Let's just try swapping this over. We'll put the wagon that's not meant to go into the middle, so the tension lock couplings can go in, the Dublo ones. So the N2 definitely still needs a service, but this is quite fantastic. So initially I've got the wagons now the wrong way, but that seems to be working. And this is brilliant. This is something that wasn't possible before I started this. I have actually achieved what I set out to do, which is to repair a locomotive, to rebuild 2 wagons. So I've got another item of stock for running on normal Dublo, and then I've got another item of stock for running in the goods train on the Hornby Dublo. I mean, admittedly the wagon will look slightly out of place compared to the flat wagons, but in this little train here, it looks superb. And this is something that just wasn't able to happen earlier. There's such an amazing sense of achievement to actually now have a train running that wasn't doable this morning. And it's one of the really, really great things about the model railway hobby, that it doesn't matter at what end of the spectrum that you're working at, there's a huge amount of satisfaction. Whether it's, you know, putting a body back on a chassis or rebuilding a locomotive, there's this immense sense of satisfaction and pride in what you do. And that's really good. I mean, right now, I don't think there's much more that I want. I am totally content with my little N2 that I put together and its 2 wagons. This is just magical. And the fact that it was something that wasn't able to do this, and the fact the chassis was, I don't know how I got the chassis, but the chassis, you know, was put aside somewhere, and that wagon was in bits, and the other one was just probably came from 2 places. You know, it's just the concept of putting stuff back together again and making it work again is fantastic. I mean, it's one of the reasons we got the stuff in the shed. But there's something particularly magical about being able to set this up and do it like this. Yeah, I'm very happy. But this is just perfect. What should this go around? Absolutely perfect. And the smell is fantastic coming off this. Sometimes you don't need a big layout and huge prototypical trains. Sometimes you just need an engine you put back together and a couple of wagons you put back together, and that's really pretty wonderful. And the big thing to remember is, despite this engine being something like 50 years old, all the parts are readily available. So it all came off eBay. There's plenty of spare parts. You can get service parts for them. It's still very much a usable locomotive. This is fantastic. I am so absolutely... It's starting to run quite well now. Now it's got a bit of running in behind it. I wonder how slowly is it going. I was going to say, that's a pretty impressive creep, really. Oh, this is just fantastic. The satisfaction having put this together and getting it to continue is just fantastic. Which I think makes it an LMM first. Successfully done what we set out to do and having it running. So that's the end of this video. I have successfully done what we set out to do. I have another working locomotive and another couple of items of rolling stock, and I'm feeling pretty chuffed about that, to be honest. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, how about giving us a like, or maybe subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help us out and helps the channel to grow and for us to make bigger and better content. And if you wouldn't mind sharing this video with your railway and your model railway friends, share the joys of reassembling some Hornby Dublo and, well, Hornby full stop. And of course, leave a comment. Let us know what you've rebuilt. Have you done something like this? Do you know the simple joys of putting some stuff back together again and then having it work? And of course, there is the Discord, so share the pictures and show us what you've been up to, and yeah, share the joy. So thank you very much, guys. If you've enjoyed this one, how about clicking over there for the previous video we did on Hornby Dublo, where I found the big box and we got it all out and where most of this stuff came from. And underneath that, how about a look at Overlord at the Chatham Historic Dockyard? And next time we do this, then we'll be doing a running session with the Hornby Dublo. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm just going to enjoy this.